Uh, and to me, there were people that were shocked. People were losing their mind, and it was kind of surprising on both anybody to see an uprising like that. But to me, it's not. And I wasn't even panicking. I was just kind of, in a way, I was kind of just kind of laughing, like, wow, man, these people really have lost their mind. To think that you can overthrow, try to do some kind of coup and overthrow the government like that was just crazy. And this has been done before in the past. America have always, if you look at the history on how the Civil War and, when this country first started, it was on bloodshed. During the time of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, there's always been war and bloodshed of innocent people from all walks of life, trying to exercise their own opinion. So I'm not surprised, and I'm not even panicking, because it's like, I know one thing is one thing I learned is put your eyes on God. Don't put your eyes on this world if you're a believer. What you seen yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, from around the world, around the country, from every generation, is that there is what we call people being, some of the people who have their own view. There's two kinds of racism that you're going to have. The first one was what you seen, was the direct people who were voicing their view and their political view mixed in, and anybody don't agree with their view, they look opposite of what they do, and opposed to, you see the more direct approach. But it's not over. It's not over. But now you're going to see the indirect racism. And that's what I was coming. They said, what is indirect? Indirect racism is the kind of racism is kind of hidden, and you have to kind of somebody has to draw it out. And sometimes it's on the left side as well as radical is on the radical right side. But the radical right side, let it be exposed. You can see the double standard. And people were making a good opposition between the Black Lives Matter people and the Trump supporters. You see how the way the police the situation. They will allow those people to come in and tear up the White House. And they were sitting there and they were trying to buddy with them and and there were police officers were taking pictures with them. They were non-aggressively until someone had to bring in the National Guard to bring over an aggressive approach. And you see what happened. They say 4 people. They say first it was 1. As my buddy told me, that it ended up being 4 people. So it's not a surprise. Some people are really shocked. This had to happen, as far as I'm concerned. It had to happen the way it did, because people think that that's supposed to happen to other countries. That's the way they handle politics. America, like other countries, some countries was founded on bloodshed. So was America. America was put on a totem pole, like I mentioned in other videos. The people that they want to annihilate were the black and the red. They did secede with the red, but they've been trying to figure out the way to eliminate the blacks. And when people who coincide with the blacks, they paid the price too. And it plays out. When you see when injustice what happened with last year with the summer and this coming to this year, what happened with with the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor that went nationwide. We see that there have been police officers that, kill innocent men for no apparent reason. One was just holding a sandwich. One was in his own garage, and he shot himself. But now that then there's a certain percentage of people who say, well, he must have done something for the police to come out. He mustn't, and there's some people like that. And that even though that it was a victim, this man was a victim of no circumstances. He didn't have a weapon on him. I mean, what happened in Columbus, 2 of those men, neither had weapons on them. One got shot in the back as he went into the house. And people act like it's a surprise. But this is now the direct race is being shown. It's being here in this timeless generation throughout the whole world. And now it's tied into with the politics. Now you see how the way people are disciplined who break the law, who literally rioting, throwing bricks, destroying federal property, causing people. Now people, the whole world can see that how this plays out. People than Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a certain degree you can say that he said, but but it's not gonna stop with Donald. Not just motivated by Donald Trump. People have always been racist like this, and they feel them bold. They've been racist the whole time. They were racist when the last 3 or 4 presidents was in office. When Obama was in office, you see something about the Tea Party. When he was, this is the truth. In this administration, Henry Biden's administration was in office. So there's always going to be a segment of people in America is going to be there's 2 types of racism, and it's surprising to people that sometimes for all walks of life, but particularly with some white people, that it's like they can't believe this, and it's shocked because black people and other people saying you've been crying the boogeyman so long. You've been that boogeyman. No, you guys always do something because you got your little black privilege card, and we've tried to reverse that psychology thing. Now you see. Now the whole world sees what America is really about. America was always built on bloodshed. It was always built on between political reasons. It was always like that, and that's why I don't get caught up with it. I hear my friends talk about. I see my friends and family online talking about it. They're getting wrapped up emotionally into it. It didn't faze me. It did not faze me because I knew it was coming. When you live a long time in its life, you've been around people. There's different sides of people. What you will see to yourself when you get to a certain age, and you have experienced things. Nothing don't surprise you no more. It's just a matter of time. And you've been trying to tell people, others been trying to tell people that, hey, this been going on, but people didn't want to listen. People didn't want to acknowledge, and they didn't. You're delusionary. No, you're reading into things wrong. Now, look what happened. Now that argument can't be displayed no more. Now call that whatever you want to call reading into it wrong. But the fact is that America showed its true colors to the world yesterday. And like someone saying, we can't chastise anybody from around the world. We can't chastise no country and trying to so-called get them on human rights violations when you have people acting like that at the Capitol. You don't have a leg to stand on now. That's a fact. We don't have a leg to stand on because what's been displayed by some people. And democracy. Yeah, but now that when Trump gets out of office, the next thing is going to come, and I try to tell my friend this, and he won't tell. I said, there's going to be signs of socialism is about to come into place, which is kind of signs of communism. And Biden's for that. They're going to have Biden push that. He was like, no. I'm like, watch. It's coming. Trump was a boogeyman for someone round about the, and I say this probably maybe 7 months to a year to in the Biden's term. Biden's going to show his true colors. He's going to be what you call the indirect person. See, now you don't get the direct stuff. Now you're going to get the indirect, and there are higher ups that allow and help Biden get into office, and they're going to get their plan through, and their plan is through Biden, and Biden and his administration, the Democratic administration, is going to fulfill their plan. You're going to see things that sound really good at first, and it's going to be, but somewhere along the line, it's going to go back to what it was. Something is not, we're going to get screwed in the next administration just as well as this administration, according to parties. No matter is Republican, okay, no matter it's Republican, and no matter it's Democrat, we're going to get screwed some kind of way. But the next time, it's probably going to be some social stuff. Mark my word. It's coming. People think that it's free. So they succeeded. So those people, they succeeded in getting their point of view across, going up there trying to fight for Trump, trying to exercise their constitutional right, and this is what happened. 4 people got shot, 60 to 70 officers got hurt. And the reason why 60 to 70 officers got hurt, because they allowed that stuff to happen. And that's how they have a double standard between the Black Lives Matter protesters or people protesting peacefully, and they attack them. And someone made a good point about this. You attack them, but the ones who you get aggressive with is them, but you don't get and see, this is what America, what they call, why they use the term white privilege, because some people see that it was white privilege, how they were able to tear up, that was white privilege that tore up the whole White House, and they don't want to admit that. That was white privilege to cause that Congress to duck under the tables. See, this is what you do. So that's why I was laughing. It was laughing because now you don't have to say nothing no more. You don't have to vindicate. The whole world see it. All those leaders around the world seen it, and their citizens see what's going on in America. And yet there's people, when you come to America, that's how the way we handle things, just like the way is no different than the way they handle things back in those countries where they at. You know, sometimes if there's some political disagreement, it can literally, it's getting down, it can almost cost you your life. You can literally get jumped upon in this country for voting for a certain party. And it used to be a time where, you can have a simple disagreement, whether you for Democrat, Republican, but now It's literally turned to bloodshed. It's literally coming to that point. People have always been like that. It's just a matter of time. People don't pay attention that it's been happening. But some people didn't want to believe. They just think that, yeah, we're free in democracy, we should do this. No, that may be so, but someone's going to keep pushing bloodshed. It's a spirit of violence that's over America. That's always been here. Injustice and social situations and unjust death. So it's not going. Unfortunately, I hate to be the downer, but it's not going to get better but it's just proving itself out to play out that we really what it is. So people are just surprised, but I wasn't. It's just something that I've seen all my life. And again, now we're going to see the indirect racism. We see the direct what was exposed and other issues, but that's one of the things. Now it's going to be indirect racism because Biden brings that. And some people go, no. And you don't understand. And this is what people didn't understand because they tried to make Trump just the boogeyman. And Trump, I'm gonna give you a story, the actual story that happened 30-something years ago between the two men. When there was a woman, it was a Central Park jogger. She's a white female that got raped and allegedly by 4 black teenagers that later on found out to be innocent. Back in about 89, was about 89, 90, somewhere in there. The two men were on agreement. Watch what I'm saying. The two were on agreement against punishing these young black youth, putting them to death. That was Biden when he passed the law. Trump took a paper on the hit squad on these young black men. And they both did was wrong. Even though Trump was more direct with his racism, Joe Biden was indirect with his racism. He put it to action, he put it to law. And see, one thing I learned about racist people, particularly our non-melanated racist people, is that they can pick and choose who they want to be racist to. And this is what the word supremacy come in, because the supremacy is a mind thinking that I determine whether I think that you as a person of your melanin skin or your ethnic makeup, I determine if you're good or bad to me. This is what the attitude in America is really about. I determine if you're black, if you're good, if you're a good black person or you're a bad black person. Then if you're a bad black person, I get to call you in your kind of name. I think you're the most lowest form of life, and you should be treated like the lowest form of life. That's the mentality is here. But both men had come from an area where it's like that. And it's funny that you have African Americans on both sides, whether they're Democrat or Republican, black or trying to black for the Republican or Democrat. They stand with these are black folks that stand with the direct racism, and they got black people that stand with the indirect racism. But the point about it is, at the end of the day, when all this is squashed over in another year or two, they'll go back and probably being buddies. It's all Shakespeare, people. It's all Shakespeare. at the top, and they can't stand one another. They did everything. It's all. I mean, you just sit back. It's a show, and people are falling for it from all walks of life. They're falling for this crazy mess. That's why I had to kind of laugh, like, wow, man. You know, it's sad in some way, but it's kind of funny because people have been trying to say this for a long time, and people have been in denial. No, we're the greatest country on the planet. Okay, yeah, we're in a good country, but we're not the greatest right now. Sometimes we're not the greatest, and it proved that yesterday. That means that we're just like anybody else. And this is what you go and fight for this country. This is what you're fighting for. This is what you're fighting for. You're fighting for stuff that go on like this. And the allies of America and elsewhere around the world, they have, wow, it probably blew their mind. America must be the civilized country with democracy. Yeah, it's civilized, all right. That's my mom. But it's crazy, man. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised, people. This is just the beginning. And so I always think about that, about the direct and indirect racism. And what we saw, that's so true. It was blatant in front of your face. The radicals side of America came out. The radical side. And now if it wasn't, it would have been the other side coming out with the radical. It's two radical sides. And most of us were on either side, like, this is just crazy. These are the times we're living in. But as we move on, after January 21st, get countdown, because you're about to go into another roller coaster ride the rest of the year with this next administration. Mark my word, it ain't gonna be a smooth ride. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Mark my word. Well, till next time, I just wanted to say, just hang on. You'll see. And it's not going to stop the way policing is going to be in this country, the next administration. That's not going to stop it. More young, innocent people, mostly black, and black females and males, older and young, are going to probably be up on a different administration where police going to get away with murder. Some going to get away with murder. So even some racist people don't get away with murder. System don't change because who's in office. System don't change. What party is it? It don't change. It don't change. Now you're going to get the indirect. And then there's people who are black, who are in high position places. They're the overseers of death. They're there to just, when something gets too publicized, they're there for their own cause. They're not there for the people. And all I would say to this, you want to find out, let the Most High guide you and show you the whole picture. Don't believe everything you see over the news. Research it. And the puzzles are right there. Don't get caught up with this thing. Don't get caught up. Because when you get to a certain level in life, and unfortunately there's people that I know it's closer to me. They're caught up in it. They have no peace in their life. They have no relationship with God. Because if they did, they would get just like this too. It's the truth. And don't let it get to you. Build up your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And He'll see you through this. But this must have played out between Biden and Trump. This had to play out. Because, it was time to wake other people up who live in a la-la world. Some people live in a la-la-la world, and now their world has been disturbed. And you just sit back and you're just like, wow, I've been trying to, you don't have to say a word. Now the whole world, many generations of people are seeing it. People in their own comfort of their own home, in their own nice neighborhoods are seeing it. People are seeing it with their own eyes. They get to see. No one's escaping this. And watch what's going to happen. Alright, then, until next time, you guys take care.